Hi everyone, we're going to take our last day of class notes on 9-7. So this is our third day of graphing quadratic inequalities. The steps, remember, are to list A, B, and C, find the vertex, make a table, and graph. With inequalities, you have to do the added step of thinking about dotted, solid, where to shade, where to shade. So let's go ahead and get started with number 2. I'm going to list A, B, and C. It's clear to me that A is 2, B is 4, and C is 4. Vertex, the x-chord, we're going to use that formula opposite B over 2A. So we're going to have to take the opposite of 4, which is negative 4, over 2 times 2, which is negative 4 over 4, which reduces to negative 1. We're going to find our y-chord by plugging into that original. We have a 2 times a negative 1 squared plus there's a 4. Then we plug in a negative 1, and then there's a plus 4 that follows behind. Hopefully at this point we know that we have to square this first and that a negative squared becomes a positive. So we have 2 times 1 for this piece. Here we have multiply to get a negative 4 and bring down that plus 4. We end up with y equals 2 minus 4 plus 4. Some of you will do this first and just say that those become 0. Therefore y is 2. So I get 2. I make a table. I put the vertex in the middle of the table. I think about the numbers that I need above that negative 1, which would be negative 2 and negative 3. And I think about what numbers I need below that negative 1, which would be 0 and 1. When zero's in our table, it helps us. We don't have to show as much work. When zero's in the table, we could take the shortcut and say that our y value will be 4, which is the C value. So we need a 4 here, and if we put a 4 here, the symmetry says that a 4 will also go across from the negative 2. Now I have options. Pick one of these to figure out what number, it's the same number that's going to go there and there. For me, it's easier to plug in 1. Where do I go? Back to the original. Here I keep the 2, put a 1, square the 1, plus keep the 4, multiply with 1, sub in the 1 plus 4. So 2 times 1 squared plus 4 times 1 plus 4. Do this first. 2 times 1, because 1 squared is 1. 4 times 1, and the plus 4 comes down. We end up with 2 plus 4 plus 4. We end up with 6 plus 4, which is 10. 10 here, and a 10 here. And now my table is complete, excuse me. Let's go back and talk about dotted solid. See the solid line underneath. And I see a less than or equal to. Less than is below. Graphing my points. This is the x-axis. So your x, you're going to move right and left. This is the y-axis. So your y, you're going to move up and down. 3 to the left and up 10. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 to the left and up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 to the left, up 2. Stay at 0 and go up 4. The y is 4. Remember, y, you move up and down. 1, 10, 1 to the right and up 10. Connect with my solid line. Oops, I almost made it dotted. And the best that you can to make that rounded like a smiley face. And below means go anywhere on your graph and shade down, 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 down. So all of these points would work in this inequality. It would make that inequality true. Our second example, I'm going to start with solid, because I see the solid line, less than or equal to, below. Listing A, B, and C. And again, another challenging one because of that -1 there, that invisible 1. So I'm definitely going to put that one there and really, that -1 there, and really focus in on that when I do the math. And so B is 2 and C is -5. Vertex x chord, opposite B over 2a, -2 over 2 times the -1, so I get a -2 over -2. A negative over negative becomes positive, and 2 goes into 2 once. Y chord, here's where we have to be very careful. We have -1 times 1 squared plus 2 times 1 minus the 5 that comes down. Finding y, do the 1 squared first. So the -1 comes down, this becomes a 1, multiply these to get 2, and the -5 comes down. Still have to multiply these to get a -1 plus 2 minus 5. And different signs subtract, keep the sign of the bigger, 1 minus 5, different signs subtract, keep the sign of the bigger, -4. Completed my vertex, I'm ready for step 3, which is to make a table. Vertex in the middle, smaller than 1 is 0 and -1, bigger than 1 is 2 and 3. Zeros in my table, so I check out what my C value is, and across from 0 I'm going to put a -5. Looking at the location of the 0, I also know that across from 2 I need a -5. Up to you on what number to plug in. I'm going to plug in a 3. -1 times 3 squared plus 2 times 3 minus 5. Again, back to the original. Notice I still have a -1. I still have the plus 2 and the -5. I've just changed the x's to the 3 that I want to figure out what the y is. 3 squared is 9. 2 times 3 is 6. We get -9 when we multiply there. Different signs subtract, keep the sign of the bigger. -3 minus 5. Same signs add and keep, getting a -8. I am now ready to graph. This is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, and I am going to count by ones. So I'm going to move 1 to the left and down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stay at 0, go down 5. Go to the right 1 and down 4. 2 to the right and down 5. 3 to the right and down 8. We said connect with solid. And we need to shade below. Down, 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 down. Go anywhere on your parabola and go down with your pencil. All right, hopefully we're getting better at this. Ask questions if you have them. Bye, everyone.